Hello everyone. Similar to last week, in today's video, we're going to be rectifying a survey data file into known control in the survey database. The difference from last week is in that video, our original raw survey file was in conventional format, that local coordinate file that we brought into the control. This week, we're going to bring in a local control file that is static format, so fixed coordinates. So I can't bring it into the control and have all the points fall out because they're not tied together by distance and angle. So let's get started. Just to show you what we have here, let's look at or review our control file. This is the same one from last week. We have 3 fixed coordinates from our control we're going to bring in. And here is our survey file from the field that's in local coordinates. Notice this was shot with a total station. We had assumed coordinates and an assumed backside, but we did not spit it out in raw or conventional format. We exported the coordinates because we didn't need to adjust it or whatever. So just a reminder, if you don't need adjustments, which we obviously don't since we have static data, and you don't need line work, a lot of times you wouldn't even be going through the survey database. So let's assume we have line work codes in this total station file, and we need to add it to the survey database. So we're going to start going to just reviewing our coordinate system. Notice we have Alabama State Plane West, and I already have a survey database. If I go to edit the database settings, it's in US foot as well. I could set a coordinate system here if you like doing that. So let's start importing. Just like last week, we're going to import the control first. Pick my survey database, select point file here. Go locate our GPS control file. There's our point format, point northern easting elevation description. Next, we're going to create a network, call that test. Make sure and select test in blue. Now next, and we're going to set this to control points, just like last week. I'm not going to turn on line work because I don't need that. I'm going to go ahead and insert the figures and the survey points and finish. And I had the aerial being imagery turned on as well. But here's our 3 control points. There's 2,000, 3,000, and 1,000. So there's quite a few ways to do this, just like always. You hear me say that a lot in Civil 3D. But let's talk about just a few methods. I could import those fixed points from the local survey, from the total station survey, into here. I could unlock those coordinates, which are just have COGO points in the file. I could move those and then bring them back into the survey database in a couple ways. But since I'm heading towards a COGO workflow anyway, I'm not even going to bring it in here first to confuse the issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump to the points import, my regular COGO. So we're going to use the COGO tools just to translate and rectify these up into coordinate space. Then we're going to either export or add those straight to the survey database. So we go to point creation tools. You can see the last one's import points from a point file. This is just your standard COGO point import. There's my TPS total station file. It's the same format as before. I'm going to put these in a separate point group. I don't want to put them in the control, so I'll call that TPS. That looks good. We hit OK. Okay, so I could zoom out and see those points there way down near the origin, and I'm up in coordinate space here, but I really know what the points are. So I could just kind of save some time here. I know that point 2 is the same as 2,000. So I'm going to move point 2 up here. Now I've got a rotational issue, and that you can find more detail on my last video where I talk about the assumed azimuth and why the rotation's out a little bit. So we just assumed an azimuth basically with a total station. So let's first start by moving up point 2 to point 2,000, and then we'll take care of the rotation. Okay, so I'm going to start by going up to the prospector. I have my TPS point groups. I'm going to right click and we're going to select those. So they're selected in the drawing. And now I'm going to run the move command. And it says specify the base point where we want to move from. Well, I'm going to actually key that point number in. So we're going to go over to the point filter on the right. Click for point number, and it's going to be point 2. Enter. And we're going to move that up to point 2,000. Enter. And then escape. So now point 2 is coincident with point 2,000. But it's very easy to see our rotational issue here. So these should be the same points. Here's the GPS nail and the GPS nail from the TPS or from the total station. So this needs to be rotated up to here around this base point of 0.2 and 2000. So I'm going to type in rotate, RO, And for selecting objects, I'm going to type P for previous, my previous selection, which is all the total station points. I'm going to hit enter or right click. Now my base point is going to be 0.2 or 2000. Now for my rotation angle, I'm going to select reference. And so I got to set the reference angle. So I'm going to click back on the node of 0.2. And then my second point, or my angle that I want to move from, is down to my point from the total station, and I want to rotate that into the control point at this location. And I was using the node snap through all that. So now we have successfully translated this TPS or total station point group into the known control. Now you got a couple options at this point. So remember, in the survey import, if I go to import survey data, I can actually import directly from points in the drawing. So if you want to do something fast, you're not worried about having a nice clean file with those in it, you can import all those points you just selected and slam those into the survey database, and it'll work fine. One thing a lot of people prefer to do at this point is just to export a new text file based on this new location. So we'll go back to Prospector. On my TPS point groups, I'm going to right click and select export points. Select the format. You can see comma delimited here, the same one that we started with, our destination file. We can do a CSV here maybe, and we'll do TPS, call this grid maybe, to designate that they're in grid now. Limit points to the group TPS, that's great, that's exactly what we want. There we go. So now I'm going to come over to the TPS point group. I'm going to right click, select all those objects, and delete. And then I'll just delete the point group. So now I'm back to where I started with my 3 control points. Let's jump over to the survey database. On import events, I'm going to right click, import survey data, point file. We're going to change our files of type to CSV. There's our grid, TPS. Make sure we have the right format. We do. Next. There's our network. These are going to be, you can do non-control or control points. It doesn't really matter. If you want to distinguish these, I like to do non-control here so you could use them in a filter. And we're just going to hit finish. And now you can see my TPS points are coincident with my GPS control. So at this point I could start cleaning up the line work in the file or making any other edit that I need. So the goal today was to show how to bring in a data file in local coordinates, but in this case the data file is in fixed or static point format, and we need a trick to move that up or translate that into the control points. I hope this has been beneficial. Have a great day.